Hello, Roxana. Thank you for being part in our Research for ComEnt project. First of all, please state your full name and the position that you have in the organization that you represent.
Roxana Damaskince, co-founder and executive director.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk a bit now about the social enterprise that you represent. So, how did it all started?
It started with the need to secure jobs for some very vulnerable persons, adults with intellectual and psychosocial disabilities with an institutional past, meaning persons that lived for 20, 30, 40 years in orphanages and segregated state residential institutions that are supported by a charity to live in the community. And for them, not having any, independent living experience, no previous jobs, it was very important to start the inclusion on the labor market in a safe environment. So because we have OilRight, the social enterprise has a strategic partnership with this nonprofit that supports these individuals. We started the idea, launching ourselves on the social enterprise road with the goal to find something that is able to generate a meaningful job for these people. And also environmental sustainability is very important for me and for the nonprofit and for the people around me. And as I knew about the OilRight model that was already functioning in Slovenia, and I liked it very much. I liked it because it's replicable. It makes sense in every local community to have an OilRight. So we decided to approach the Slovenian team and ask them if they would be interested in partnering with us so we can bring the idea to Romania. And this is how it started. And yeah, we're meeting actually next week in order to have a in-person 2 days full working meetings, because we want to come up with a social franchise manual based on the experience, on the good experience we had with the first replication from Slovenia to Romania.
Nice. So, what is the size of OilRight? And by size, I mean the number of employed staff, the number of volunteers if you have, and the number of social clients. If you can tell us.
There are 7 part-time employed people. Out of them, 4 have disabilities. We don't have volunteers. We're incorporated as a limited liability company, but we have pro bono partners, or we have cooperations with companies that support us. I would say maybe 7, 8 such partners in the local communities. And in terms of social clients, well, the main social client for us is the planet, the environment, because we're collecting used cooking oil and preventing pollution with this type of waste. And the other clients are, regular paying clients. It's not like we differentiate between social and non-social clients. For us, the social impact resides, with the employees, and yeah, also the future profits will be donated 100% to this charity I was telling you at the very beginning.
Okay, so do you sell scented candles?
Scented candles and do-it-yourself kits to make candles in your own kitchen out of your own used cooking oil. And the candles, yes, we're selling are made out of used cooking oil, and we're also selling recycling and environmental educational workshops for children. And we sell them to the workshops, to schools, after schools, playgrounds, also companies, corporations for family type events, and also to donors. So the educational component has quite a strong appeal among corporations that are just paying us to spread the message. So yeah.
So in the future, do you consider selling your goods beyond your immediate location, like the entire region or country or international?
We're selling nationwide. I mean, we have an online shop and we get orders from all over the country. And the idea is, and yeah, we're also selling, another thing we're selling, I did not mention, is filtered and the bit processed used cooking oil to the biodiesel producers. So this is a very interesting market niche. And we're selling this oil for biodiesel currently to a company in Oradea. They resell it to a biodiesel producer in Debrecen, and we want, once we increase the collection capacity, we're going to sell directly to a refinery in close to Vienna.
So,
and yeah, in terms of growth, it does not make sense, to collect the oil from Galați to Timișoara. It makes sense to have an OilRight embedded in the local community in Galați. So the really, the scaling strategy, if you want, is this social franchise idea and further replicating the model.
Okay. So OilRight has remained consistent, or has it moved away from its original purpose till now?
Nothing.
Let's move on to the reasons for starting the social enterprise. When and why did you start OilRight?
Why? I told you, to have an entrepreneurial activity that would create good jobs for the vulnerable people supported by this charity. And when 2020 September, I think it was incorporated. And we actually had our first employees in January 2021. This is when we actually started the operations.
What level of involvement had the local community in the development of OilRight?
Well, it's instrumental. I mean, that's the beauty of the business model, that it's so much spread among the local community, and you have individuals that decided to become collectors of oil and bring their oil, like in their, I don't know, from tiny jars to 20, 30 liter barrels. They bring it to our premises. They decided to become ambassadors for OilRight in their local neighborhoods, and communicate with us when a certain quantity of oil is collected. And they spread the message. So I think beyond the social through jobs and environmental impacts through reducing pollution, the OilRight has an impact at the level of the community because it creates this cohesion. It gives people the real, the option to really do something for the climate crisis, and to feel that they are contributing in a good way. So it's more than just sharing a Facebook post. They have the opportunity to actually do something very down to earth and get involved. And without the local community, be it individuals, be it companies, because we have partners among companies as well, and not only restaurants and bistros that give us the oil, but also corporations. For instance, they resonated to our message. They informed through their internal, communication means their employees, and we have several partnerships, and we want to grow them. Where, for instance, we know that every first Monday of the month, our team is present in the premises of, I don't know, Continental or Nokia, or you name it, and hundreds of employees, when they come to work, they just bring the used oil they generated at home in the previous month, because we want, like, the promise of OilRight as a collection agency is to be a friendly and easy to use option for collecting the oil. So when people come to work, they just bring the oil. We want to make it easy for them and for us. So yeah, it's very much community dependent, the business model.
So would you say the local community was welcoming?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever came across community members that were opposed to the idea of?
No, not opposed. We had some interactions where people wanted us to pay them for
Mm.
giving us the oil, for instance, or we had at the beginning questions, even when we were sharing on social media.
One sec. It's actually a client. Let me tell my colleague to call. Um, okay. Sorry. So what did you ask about? Yeah, and we had comments like another fake enterprise. I'm sure you're going to pay peanuts, the poor disabled persons, or like a bit of mistrust. But it was marginal, like
Yeah.
really, really marginal. But these were the idea that we are going to use and get rich abusing the poor disabled persons, and the other one, like like again the monetary aspect for the
Mhm.
collection.
How do you measure the impact of your enterprise, locally and regionally, maybe?
Yeah, we of course we measure the quantity of oil collected, the number of clients for candles and do-it-yourself kits,
Mhm.
because there are clients that become more and more that are more and more aware, about the impact that the everyday buying decisions has. Yeah, number of people with disabilities employed, their degree of satisfaction with the work we're providing, and the number of corporate partners.
So before, during or after your enterprise came into being, was there any research conducted regarding the development of the enterprise?
Yeah, we did a full business plan with 3 years projections and market research and the whole, the whole
So,
process it entails. Yeah.
so how do you see OilRight developing into the future?
Um, Growing from right now close to maybe 600-700 liters of oil collected per month to 5 tons of oil collected per month. And this is the main growth point. And then, yes, secure more partnership on the sales of the candles, 2 or 3 distributors, and yeah, the social franchise, having more oil rights spread in the country and Europe as well. Because oil right exists in Slovenia, there is this ingredient, this special wax that helps transforming the oil into the candle. And this wax was invented and patented by a guy in Portugal. And they produce candles based out of oil right in Slovenia and us in Romania. And the three of us, Portugal, Slovenia, Romania, we're going to put together this, replication social franchising manual. We're not sure how it's going to be called. And for the three of us, the idea is to have oil rights, all over Europe.
How would you describe the decision-making process within your organization?
Well, it's not a process yet. It's still very informal, because we're a tiny team, and not all of us are involved in the decision making process. It's mainly, with my colleague who's responsible for marketing and sales, and the one that is responsible with collection coordination. we have weekly meetings and make operational decisions. The strategic ones, when needed, or at least once a year. OilRight has 5 co-founders, associates. We meet formally at least once a year, but we communicate every time there is, I don't know, decisions like joining or investing in Affin, for instance, with the company. And we also have 3 advisors, one who's a business consultant, one who's a communication expert, and Bogdan, who's the director of OilRight in Slovenia. But it's not, structured, and we don't have yet processes. But for preparing the growth and going from, as I said, several hundred liters to 5 tons, we need to. So the immediate month will be to focus a lot on operations as well and bring some more structure here.
Do you have an operational plan?
Yes, but it's mainly related to the production process. And we contracted. We realized that, also we had an operational plan for the collection process as well, but it has to be improved and made more efficient. And we contacted lean production consultant, hopefully pro bono. He will to come and audit a bit our processes and come up with improvement ideas.
Now we're going to move on to the role of stakeholders. So who are the stakeholder groups involved in the community enterprise?
It's oh my God, I had them mapped in a document, but it's the average people, the individuals in all neighborhoods in Timișoara, the collectors, restaurants and bistros, again as clients for the used cooking oil, the corporations for easy access to their employees that are going to become collectors. It's the universities and schools. We're implementing educational campaigns, and we have strategic partnerships with them. It's other social enterprises. We're lucky to be members of an amazing community of social and creative entrepreneurs. We're also together in a physical space where I think we're now 12, 13 businesses, small businesses that share this space. It's called Building a Community, and we really, reinforce each other's efforts and promote each other, and trying to build this joint brand as like building a community, and all the businesses there to be represented in events like, I don't know, Romanian Design Week in Bucharest or stuff like that. We're sharing efforts, and unfortunately local authorities as well. And unfortunately, because it's painful to interact with them, because they never have a solution and always have requests from us and expectations. And yes, and definitely the employees.
So what steps have you taken to build capacity into the organization, like in terms of sustainability, employee training, volunteer support, stakeholder involvement, and others?
Employee training and for sustainability. Yeah, no, employee training. I mean, it's so much into the DNA of the business, the sustainability element, because it's one of the main areas of impact. So it's not like we have to bring the sustainability angle on top of something else. It's part of the business model. It's just, who OilRight is.
So what training requirements like knowledge, skills does your organization require into the future in order to sustain the enterprise?
Well, it's sales, communication, production management, logistics.
Mhm. In what ways do you involve the community in capacity building?
Not much to date. Not really. I mean, yeah, we're sharing some good practices with other social enterprises, for instance, but it's not something that is structured or something an area that we would have a goal in.
Mhm. Okay, we'll move on to the financial management. So how was the initial startup financed?
A grant, 100,000 euros from Acceleratorul Alături de Voi, 10,000 euros put by me and my husband as own contribution. Then we implemented a crowdfunding campaign with Consolidate. We secured, I think, 7,000 more euros. And then it's sales income. And recently we got another award from a scale up social business competition. And we plan to sell, of course, and to pursue further non-refundable options, especially in the area of education.
Mm. So who looks after the day-to-day financial management?
Me and the accountant company.
In terms of profits and assets, what percentage have been reinvested in the community enterprise?
For the moment, I mean, everything was invested. Everything is invested. We're 1.5 years old.
Mhm.
We had a profit end of last year, but it's still in the company. It's invested in especially in growing the team, marketing and community outreach, and systems and logistics. If we grow like this, we might need to rent another space, for instance. So there are some things that we're figuring out right now.
Okay. So the legal form of OilRight is a social enterprise, right?
It's a limited liability, a SRL.
Okay.
It's registered with the local labor agency as insertion social enterprise. I don't know how to say it. So it's a social enterprise and also insertion social enterprise, inclusion social enterprise. How do you call it in English? And we also have the employing more than 50% persons with disabilities. We have the certification of protected or sheltered authorized unit from the Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs.
Okay, so this legal structure enable community participation.
Oh yeah.
Right. You mentioned earlier about the board of governors. Do you have one? Yes. And what stakeholder groups are represented in the board of governors, if there are?
Business community, entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and journalists, media communication.
We'll move on to the leadership and management. Can you give some examples of how you provide leadership to the organization?
We work like crazy. Sometimes this can be demotivating for the users. Well, yeah, we're it's not so much me. I think it's the fact that all of us really live the values and the vision of OilRight that is really, creating a good vibe, and people are motivated to come to work, and the fact that it's such a unique business model, and the feedback we get gives a strong feeling of ownership and pride to all of us who are working with OilRight. And I think the weekly meetings where we really open and honest with each other help a lot. We're also from time to time, just take a break and share an ice cream and talk about, everything. It also helps. We have, as we work with vulnerable people, and sometimes they have, difficult behaviors at work, and we're very, people oriented, and try to help the others why a certain person has manifested a certain behavior. We're very flexible in terms of helping people. I mean, with the strategic partnership with this charity, for instance, during the working hours, they can attend psychological counseling sessions. So I think it's very, team-based and flat as an organization structure. I mean, we're not many, and everyone is part-time, and sometimes we don't even meet because there are days when it's intensive in production where people work, a full day, and then they take the next day off. So we're not yet, at this very structured internal systems. But yeah, again, we have to go there. So I think, constant communication and constant reminder on, why we're doing what we're doing, and the good feedback we're getting from the community. It helps a lot. All this help a lot. For instance, when we say thank you for someone that brings the oil, they reply, no, we thank you that you exist. Or we had a retired man that brought the oil and also brought a chocolate for the team. So there are like small sweet gestures like this, which are really, uplifting. And all of that is shared. I mean,
So, what lessons have you learned since OilRight has started?
Well, I knew it, but it proved to be, real in OilRight life as well. Expect for delays in everything. Like you make the plan, and even the worst case scenario adjust it to even worse in terms of timeline and sales income and all of that. If you're really committed and true to the values and the vision, it's visible, and the authenticity pays back. I mean, it's a both way road. A lot of time, even though to build relationships and to conclude partnerships. So yeah, don't don't underestimate the time it takes to reach some goals.
Finally, I have two more questions. So the first question is, what is so unique about OilRight?
It's the I mean, I don't know if it's that unique, but
In your vision.
it's unique. Yeah, it's the possibility to transform, let's for every individual to transform the waste oil into a new beautiful product in your own kitchen. So people were, oh, like the do-it-yourself kit is really, you know, mind-blowing. Really, we can do this. Oh my God, oh my God. And it's also the shortest way in terms of value chain to recycle the oil, because you apply the circular economy in your own kitchen. You produce it and you reuse it in the same place. You don't have to transport it. I mean, you just buy the kit and then you do it at home. So I think the uniqueness of the innovation resides in the product, or in the final product that comes out of this waste.
Okay, so the final question: what lessons or information do you want to share with other community enterprises or with people who want to build a business like OilRight?
Make scenarios, research the market, understand your market. Make scenarios and expect, you know, prepare for the for the worst. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst. And yeah, it might seem a bit, I don't know, theoretical, but it's very, very relevant. Spend time and really define your values, and agree with the team on the vision and on the mission statement and on the value add of the business. It brings clarity and it helps you focus, and it's easy to communicate, and it's the starting point for every relationship to be developed in the future with the social enterprise.
Okay, we're done. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I'll stop.